Hey, it's Emma Romano here, founder of the Thrive and Life Foundation, self-healing coach, and the midwife to your personal alchemy.
I am Kelly Bowen, founder of the Heaven Within Foundation, CEO of Lifestyle Finance Australia, finance expert, life and business coach.
And you are listening to Inspired Conversations,
where we talk about the things that really matter. Yes, we go there.
We share together what's exciting us, inspiring us, and having the most profound impact on our lives and our clients' lives. And we do this to elevate and inspire you.
We cover it all from life, body, love, relationships, trauma healing, addictions, business, money, and all things woo-woo.
So sit back, relax,
and get ready to be inspired and laugh the fuck out loud.
Hey, it's Kel and Em. Guys, welcome. This is podcast number
3.
So, we had a little meeting before getting on here, and we're like, what are we going to talk about today? And as I was putting my lipstick on and having a very quick wee.
Which was very fine, by the way. The lipstick, not the wee. I didn't watch you wee. That'd be weird.
I thought we would talk about being okay about fucking shit up.
Mm-hmm.
So where I want to go with this is here. You have to give yourself permission that you might have done some stupid shit. Because really what it's about, this is the problem people have and where they get stuck in a problem space. Mm-hmm. So when you are focusing on a problem space, that's all you're going to get is problem. So when you're in a solution space, you'll find a solution. But if you keep focusing on the problem, like me with wine, right? I'm drinking wine. No wonder I couldn't get rid of it, because I'm still stuck in that frequency of wine. I wasn't looking at nourishment, more fun, alignment, right? Mm-hmm. So, but out of all the things that had happened to me in my past, which I now go, well, actually didn't happen to me, it happened for me, because I decided to switch that narrative. And all the things that I did wrong, I've done 1,000 million fucking things wrong, right? Like, I mean, not that bad, but...
Don't let the truth stand in the way of a good
Can
story.
we backtrack? Can we even delete that bit? We've all done shit wrong, right? But what you got to do is, if you stay in the shame about it, you haven't learnt your lesson.
No.
You've wasted the opportunity of that fuck up. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you take responsibility and go, I fucked up, and now I'm not going to do it again, and I learned this about me, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's going to elevate you into a much higher energy and source level. So where I want to go with this is, be okay with fucking up. And if there's any people out there who have got children around them, who are grandparents, aunties, uncles, parents, I am the actual expert in parental stuff, right? In communication and family dynamics. Mm-hmm. And it is okay for your kids to fuck up. Anytime we put this perfection thing in there, and like I used to be a perfectionist, which was the reason why I drank so much, because I could not be it. So it would numb that situation out, that I couldn't be what I thought I was supposed to be, or be what I thought my grandmother wanted me to be, or my mother, or my uncle, whoever. And people will put you on a pedestal. And I say to people now, if you put me on a pedestal, I am going to disappoint you hugely.
I say the exact same thing.
Yeah. I know when someone puts me on a pedestal, I go, I'm going to lose them. They're going to hate me in about 6 months. Because I can't sustain what their idea of me is. I am flesh and blood. I'm a mum. I'm a businesswoman. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm funny as fuck.
And you're a human being. You are. And you're a human being.
Exactly right. And we're just in this beautiful university of growth. You know, and when people go, oh, you know, I hate making mistakes. I shouldn't have any problems. Life should be perfect. And this is what I say to my clients and the people that I teach is the one thing I say. God has problems. Mother Gaia has problems. Have you seen the fucking platypus? It is the weirdest looking thing you've ever seen in your life. Did you know a panda bear's penis is way too small for them even to mate?
Oh, really?
I am not kidding. They fucked up. Mother Gaia and God, they kind of messed some shit up. They've even got problems. So what makes people so egotistical that they think they can't have a problem and be okay with it? And one of the greatest gifts you can give to the people around you, your children, anyone who's involved with you, be okay with being vulnerable. Let them know that, you know what? I'm feeling a bit sad today. It's not you, it's me. I don't really know what it is, but it must be something, and it must be an emotion that I need to deal with today, and that's what I'm doing today. Yeah. And it gives people permission around you to go, oh, it's normal just to have sadness and you can't put a label on it. It doesn't have to be your period. It doesn't have to be hormonal. It doesn't have to be because someone said something to you. It's just, I'm feeling sad. I must be in a really good place today where my unconscious mind has gone, hey, Emma's doing all right today. We'll let her process that sadness back from 1978. And you don't have to know what it is. Just be okay with looking at that emotion and go, yeah, I see you. Thank you for being here. I love you. You're part of me. And especially when my big thing is about guilt and shame. When you hold on to guilt and shame and you run away from it, you will do more guilty and shameful things.
Oh, yes. Yes, you will.
So to be okay with that and go, right, what's the lesson learned? Because if you don't go, right, what's the lesson? And we keep blaming people outside of ourselves. I blamed my grandmother for me not loving my body. That was a choice for me to blame my grandmother. I could have made a very different choice when I was 15, when I was 10. But do I regret the choice now? No, because it's okay to fuck up, because then I can get on a podcast with you, Kel, and we can inspire somebody else who's maybe 50 or older and go through the same shit and going, wow, there's hope for me yet. So instead of being shameful about it and go, oh, I missed out in so many years, I've just flipped the narrative. I flipped the story. And when you can flip your story for the greater good, it's so inspiring, and it eases your nervous system and your adrenals, and you smile more and you lose wrinkles and you sleep better, you shit better, let me tell you. Oh my God. Isn't it true? When you start releasing these beautiful emotions and going, oh, okay, they're part of me. It's part of my background. It's part of why I am today. I see it. Because when you're so scared of looking at emotions and you're blaming everyone else, it's like your poo hole just holds on to everything, right?
Or it either holds on to everything
or it just
dumps everything. There's no nutrients that goes into your body. And I love here, Anne, that you're actually starting to touch on nervous systems, because the perfectionistic program is rooted in a dysregulated flight defense mechanism, meaning something traumatic has happened in the person's past, usually in those early developed formative years, that 0 to 7, that has spiked their adrenals, where they have felt deeply unsafe, and they have gone, the only way for me to feel safe is if I live up to some unrealistic idolation of either what they created for themselves to think they need to be worthy of love, or what they've taken on as a parent. This is where you need to be lovable. So get good grades in school, be really great at sport, do lots of extracurriculars, be a doctor, whatever it is. But when this dysregulation happens and somebody takes on a flight style defense where they want to run to get away, if they can't run anywhere, that energy's got to go somewhere. So it gets put into this perfectionism, which is a never-ending loop. Because the irony about perfectionism is it's a never-ending goalpost. There's no tote. And I know you've done NLP as well, tote being test, operate, test, exit. And this is how, like, what that means in English is that for you to know whether you've successfully completed something, you need to have a starting point. You need to have it clearly defined what is the completion of the strategy, so that you can run a strategy and then see, is my strategy creating my outcome? But if you don't have a defined benchmark around what the successful strategy is for what you're trying to achieve, then you're always going to be in this perfectionist loop, which often just leads to procrastination, overwhelm, and then nothing gets done. And your nervous system is just burning in the background. And then you've either got a fear of success, meaning if you do achieve it, then you fear the responsibility that comes with it and maintaining it, or you have the fear of failure, which is, if I do try and then I fail, then I have to deal with the fact of, oh, fuck, maybe I'm a failure. And I think, like, remember when I said, I think it was in the first episode, I mentioned becoming a world champion was the best and most terrifying thing that ever happened to me. Because I did have, like, the overactive flight defense mechanism. That was my jam, man. I know that thing back to front, the addictions, the running, the perfectionism, the anxiety, the mild, like, OCD things have to be a particular way. I have to go through certain processes before I can feel good. Like, been there, done that. And when this is running, there is no space for being able to, you know what, I'm going to learn something new. And what I'm going to bring to the table is curiosity. And I'm going to bring playfulness.
I love that. I love that.
I'm going to bring joy, and I'm going to bring openness. But when your nervous system is dysregulated, you don't have access to those emotions because they're only available in a regulated nervous system. And how you were talking about before, I can't remember the context that you are, the problem-based thinking, where you're constantly focused on the problem, you create more of the problem, and you've got no solution-based thinking when you focus on the solution, which is, what do I want instead? Then all of the possibilities open up. It reminds me of a book I read by Carol Dweck called Mindset. And when it was recommended to me, it was recommended with, this book will change your life if you let it. And it literally talks about the fixed mindset and the growth mindset, which is no different to the problem-based thinking versus growth-based thinking, or the solution-based thinking, which is asking yourself better questions, and it's bringing that level of curiosity to it. And they even talk about in the book, they did this study where they had one group of kids, they gave them a particular, they gave them a set of math problems, like two groups of kids. One group of kids, they rewarded them with praise based upon their achievements and how well they did on the test. The other group of kids, they gave praise based upon how much effort they put into the test. And what was really interesting, so they gave relative math tests relative to the grade that they were in, and all the kids did really well. And the first group of kids got, well done, you got 90%, you did, or you got 100%, you did a good job. And the other group of kids got, well done, I can really see the effort and the thinking you put into working out that problem and how you work through that and how you solve that. Well done. And, you got a really good grade. Then they gave them the next level year up math problems, and they gave it to both groups of kids, and both groups of kids only got like maybe 3 out of 10, for example. Then the group of kids that were praised on results, they were like, you did okay, you only got 3 right. The ones that were praised on the effort that they put in, they got, again, wow, you did a really good job with that problem. That problem is a year level above you. And look, you actually got 3 of these right. And look at your thinking. And if you just did this with these problems, you would be able to get the correct answer too. Then they gave them another set of math problems. And they found the kids that were getting praised based on their result didn't want to participate anymore. and didn't want to do it.
Ah.
That were being praised for the effort they were putting in and their willingness to have a go were so excited to try and get involved. And what's so interesting about it is when you think about the conditioning of how we receive praise and encouragement when we were little, like what was rewarded, what kind of behaviors were rewarded, was it achievement based or was it effort based? I know for me, the more that I succeeded with skiing, the more praise I got. So it became very ingrained in me to be loved and accepted. You have to win.
Yeah.
Whether that was actually true or not, that's how I got coded. So when I stopped skiing and then I wanted to try do anything else, the anxiety of doing anything new, because I had to used to being the best in the world at something to have to go being like
Yeah.
brand new beginner. I wasn't coded for that. The anxiety was ridiculous.
Because you
Like,
were too scared to fuck it up.
too scared to fuck it up. I
Yeah.
should be the best. I'm used to being the best. What do you mean that I can't just the entitlement? I can't just start at the best. What do you mean I can't just walk straight into management and get paid really well?
Yeah, exactly right. And do you know what I love about what you're saying? It's like we are so programmed to fall in love with the end result. The biggest learning I've had is to fall in love with the journey.
Right?
You know, fall in love with the up days, with the down days. You know, it's kind of one step forward. It could be two steps forward, one step back sometimes.
Yep.
Be okay with it. It just means the 2 steps you've gone forward, there was still a little lesson there that maybe I hadn't quite gotten. So I just need to come back and master that step.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we got to be okay to fuck it up, because there is no such thing as a mistake. It's just mastering a certain skill. And sometimes, you know, what we call a mistake is just let's keep relearning it. Because if we think we've got it, we're not going to visit it again. We're like, next,
Yeah. Thank you. Next.
next. You know, but if we master this step, we're mastering a skill. You don't master a skill if you do it once. You've got to do it quite a few times. And that's where you've really got to also, any parents out there, let your kids do their journey. Stop wrapping them up in fucking cotton wool.
Mm-hmm.
Let them fuck up. Even if you can see it's a catastrophic mistake. There was a story of, this happened last year. My son Jack really wants a secondhand BMW, like a 1999 one, 98 one, so he can do it up.
Yeah.
And he was looking at one last year and it was about 4,000, I think, $5,000 or something. And Anthony, my husband, was like, oh, he needs to make sure it's okay. I went, hang on. Don't rob him of buying a lemon. And Nancy's like, well, I don't want him to buy a lemon. I went, but it could be the greatest lesson he ever has by buying a lemon.
Yeah.
It's only money. Money comes and goes. And you know what, Kel and I will talk about abundance and money in another episode. But money flows. Money's just energy. It's like air. It comes in,
Yeah.
goes out.
And once you get into it, it's always there.
Exactly. And I really wanted Jack to have this relationship with this shitty car so he could find a better relationship with his own skill set on budgeting, on saving for the car, on how to fix a car, how to find out how to fix a car, getting his mates around, community. But so many parents are ready to go, I'll buy this, I'll get this for you. Let them get it. Let them fuck up. Let them learn, because the more they get to learn in a younger age, the less likely they are to do it in their 30s and 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've already done it.
Yeah.
Because I see way too many, especially men clients from the age of 35 to 45 who are riddled with anxiety and depression and starting to fuck up majorly. And it's shit. And I'll say to them straight away, you had a very controlling parent, wouldn't you? They'll say, yeah, I did. One of them was extremely controlling. I went, I bet they told you what to think, how to feel, what you were supposed to do. They went, yeah, my life was mapped out for me. I went, and I say to them, I go, right now, you're full of anxiety and depression because you're not who you are. You've got to allow your friends to fuck up. It's your job not to fix them. Your job is to support them.
Mm-hmm.
Is to go, hey, I'm here. I love you no matter what. But you've really got to give yourself permission to be okay with your fuck ups and be okay with fucking it up.
Yeah. And it is, and even like, and how are you talking to yourself through that? Like when you go back to the study about the kids, right? Maybe you didn't get the best encouragement when you were little that helped you really embrace that growth mindset, that solution-based thinking. But you can change that now. You can change that today. So yeah, like that. And when you're coming into doing new things, you can be that loving voice, that champion for yourself that actually talks you through it and gives you the praise and the encouragement for the effort and the willingness that you're willing to put in to learn something new, and praise your vulnerability, praise like praise the part, like the childlike innocence that's coming into play with you, learn this new thing, to praise the curiosity, to praise the, well, you know, you did pretty good, let's, you know, what can we do better, and let's go again. And I see this a lot, particularly newbies in business, where they think that they're going to get it right the first time.
Oh my God. And they think in their first year, I'm going to hit 100,000, I'm going to do $10,000 a month sales.
Yeah.
Nope.
You might get lucky. Look, let's not say it's never, because I have seen it, and you might get lucky. But here's also what happens with that. Typically, if you do get lucky and you haven't become who you need to be to hold that frequency of money, to hold that frequency of leadership, to hold that frequency of like who you need to be to ground and embody, life comes along and just rips the carpet right out from underneath you to go, okay, who are you when your back's against the wall? Because when everything is good, it is easy to show up. It is so easy to show up. Yet when we're in the shit, when it's hard, that's when we find out who we really are. And this is where it's more important than ever that we're loving with ourselves, we're compassionate with ourselves, and we praise ourselves for having a fucking go, because at least we're not sitting at home going, oh, I dream about that life I could have. We're in the game.
Yeah.
And that's what,
like, 100%. I love it, because you can't sustain something that you're not willing to give a go.
Yeah.
You know, and we have to give ourselves that permission to really be okay with making a mistake, because a mistake is the learning. Because when life's good, as Kel says, I'm kumbaya, my lord, I'm good. But when the shit the shit hits the fan, I'm like, ugh. But that's when I get my big girl pants on and I go, right, let's go to work.
Yeah. And I still show up. I still be there for my clients. I still be there for my friends. I still be there for my loved ones. Like, there's no just because, oh, I've stubbed a toe, now I get to have a meltdown. Like,
exactly.
It's still that the work gets done and it keeps going, but it takes time to build that muscle, and you've got to give yourself permission to explore.
Yeah, because everything's a practice.
Yeah.
Don't think anyone watching this for a second and gone, oh, Em and Kel were really shit, and now they're these fucking goddesses. It's a practice. We're very consistent practices.
Yes. And that's it. Like, when people ask me, what does it take to have a successful business? I tell them 4 failed businesses. Like,
yeah. Practice.
Epic fails. Epic fails. Like, one, I've invested $30,000 in because my psychic said it was going to work.
I love that.
I didn't even look at the contract. I didn't look at market research. I just literally dumped the money in the person's bank account for this health product that was meant to cure curable gut things. And yet a couple of years later, after he's sucking in, and many other people like me, he died of bowel cancer, the very thing the product was meant to cure him from. Like, what the fuck? And then the next one, I had a personal training business that I thought, you know, I can just be really good at what I do and people will want to come and work with me, because I didn't want to market. I hated it. No, fail. That's not how business works. Like, you got to get yourself out there. You can't just declare yourself open for business and entirely expect people to come. It doesn't work like that. No matter
you have to be consistent. That's the thing with everyone. You know, the key to success is this: be consistent, but be consistent with the right frequency and the right habit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't be consistently drinking wine and expect to be a millionaire. Do you know what I mean? You can't consistently be a dickhead and imagine good days, right?
You can't,
You gotta watch your habits. You gotta watch your habits and behaviors because manifestation is a word that gets thrown around a lot. And I gotta tell you, the secret to manifestation is this. You will only manifest your behaviors and your habits. It won't be what you say.
this is cheap. Talk is so cheap.
100%.
We get who we are, not what we think we are. And your external reality, it's like, is that bitter pill of self-responsibility. Oh, yay, I create my reality, and I create my reality. Not that person or that circumstance or that bad business or that bad partner or that whatever. No, they're all opportunities for us to see within ourselves what aspects are we not fully owning, loving, and integrating. Because we can only, as above, so below, as within, so without. Like universal law, like we create what we are. And if we want that to change, then we have to point the finger in and go, okay, well, what is my part in the co-creation of this? How can I take my power back? How can I create the response? Like, how can I take responsibility for it? And this is where the power comes, with giving yourself permission to fuck up. Because even if you do, all the power is still with you, because that's where you can go, okay, well, what am I learning? That's the beautiful part about it.
Yeah. And basically that's what a mistake is. Again, it's just going back and mastering a skill.
Mm-hmm.
You may need to master for further on. Because I look at, there's a little trick I do. When I'm sitting in the shit, I go, why do I need today? If I fast forward 6 months down the track, I wonder why this problem space here, I wonder why I need this to help me in 6 months' time.
Mm-hmm.
And then that is when you can come out of that problem space.
Mm-hmm.
So what's this? What's the purpose of it? What do I need to learn by it? Instead of, oh, this is happening to me again. You've just handed all your power over. You're waiting for somebody else to fix you. So, but when you sit there and you go, right, well, what do I need to learn through this? Is there an emotion? Is there a belief system? Is there something that I need to change? Or is there something I need to change in my daily habits? Because when your daily habits can prove to your future self that you are deserving of wealth, health, great community, great loving relationships, everything you want, you've got to do daily habits to prove that frequency right.
Mm-hmm.
So then if you have to look at yourself and go, well, where's the incongruency? You know, what am I doing that's fucking that up? And be okay with that fuck up, because then you can learn the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, isn't it?
Isn't it? And it's okay too, like depending upon where you're at with the fuck up as well, because some of them feels like a relationship that's gone bad and where you were the victim of it and you're still going through the anger and resentment and that kind of stuff, and that's okay too. Like it's okay to sit with that before you get to the point of like, okay, well, what's the gift and what's my co-creation? It's not giving yourself permission to fuck it up, is giving yourself the full permission to be able to sit with yourself at each part of the process, because each part, like you can't skip 1 to get to number 5, because you have to do 2, 3, and 4. Otherwise, it's that spiritual bypassing. Like you've got to go through it, and you've got to let yourself feel, and you've got to let yourself heal. You can't go from anger to gratitude. You just can't. It just doesn't work like that.
It's such bullshit. And you know what? If someone says to anyone listening here or watching this and they say, oh, you just need to get over it, just say, go fuck yourself, because I'm learning to get through it. Because if I get over it, you're bypassing it.
Yeah.
You're parking it. You're putting it on the rug. You say, I'm going through my own process of getting through it right now. And here's a big top tip, everyone. You are not supposed to do this shit on your own.
Right.
Everyone's got this thing about, oh, I have to be strong. I have to do this on my own. We are not built for that. That is a narrative that was introduced about 540 years ago to make sure that we are in fear-based so we could be controlled.
Yeah.
We are not meant to do it on our own. We are supposed to be a community. We're supposed to be villages, clans, tribes. I don't want to do it on my own.
No, you know, it's so interesting that you say about that. So after my last relationship ended nearly, I don't know, like 10 months ago, I think it is now. I moved in with my best friend, and we live in this beautiful mansion on the marina, and we've got such an unconventional family. And she used to be so like loved living by herself, and I lived by myself prior to this relationship. And after doing like the inner child healing, and after doing like the nervous system work, it's just made us realize we're not solo animals. We're community based. And this whole society, like this whole idea of what success is, the whole idea of what relationships are, the whole idea of like how we should relate, it's so skewed, and it's so out of alignment and out of rhythm for what we actually need to have healthy, regulated, and functioning nervous systems, to feel loved, supported, grounded, safe, seen, heard. Like, we're meant to have people around us. We're meant to be able to have deep, intimate connections with other people where they can see and hold our vulnerability. We're not meant to have walls up around our heart. And I think too, like, as we're shifting from third dimensional consciousness into fifth dimensional consciousness, which is being able to embody fifth dimensional consciousness in our physicality, because we're taking our physical bodies with us, we need to shift into our heart consciousness. And like, when I look around the world and I see like there's so much chaos going on, and I just see dysregulated nervous systems where people need to do this inner healing to get out of their minds and get back into their bodies and into their hearts, so that they can relate. Because this is, we can't be in fifth dimensional oneness consciousness while we're in our mind. It's in our heart. That's where the oneness consciousness is.
Yeah. And most people are running and reacting to life from shame and trauma. And when we remove the shame and trauma out of our unconscious mind, out of our energy level, out of our cells, our DNA, out of our spiritual soul, life is just so much better.
Yeah, and there's so much love. There is just so much
love, and so much more time.
Yes, so much more time.
Like, I never thought I ever had enough time. I'm just kind of like, I've got all this time in the world. I love it. It's beautiful.
Time to podcast.
Yay! Well, Cal, that was an amazing session.
Yes.
Thank you, babe.
Thank you. And let's leave them with it. If you haven't read the book, Mindset by Carol Dweck, and you really want to start shifting your thinking into supporting you in your growth and giving you permission to make the fuck ups, highly recommend reading it. We'll also attach some questions at the bottom of this podcast that you can start using to ask yourself, to help if ever you feel a little bit stuck, to really help move you into that space of growth with love and compassion for yourself.
Oh, we have lots of love and compassion for you so much.
So much.
We do. We love you. That's why we're doing this. We just love everybody. Thank you so much. And we will see you in the next podcast. Mwah. Bye, Cal. Love ya.
Yeah.